Good morning and welcome to Adult Story Time this morning. We're glad you could join us. If you recall, we're taking our stories from the book I Didn't Know That. It's written by Karlen Evins, and it's a book that talks about phrases and sayings and where they came from. Today we're taking a look at the D's, so let's get started. Dandelions. No, this cute little flower didn't get its name from looking like an actual lion. Matter of fact, the dandy part has nothing to do with our word dandy at all. Rather, it all goes back to the French, who called this fuzzy little flower dentilion. Not for the flower, but for the leaves, thought to look like a jagged lion's teeth. Dent, base word for our dental terminology, day of the lion, literally translates into tooth of the lion. Dark horse. A couple of stories claim this expression, and they both have to do with the early days of horse racing. Some horse enthusiasts felt that dyeing the coat of their horse to a darker shade gave them better odds, even if the horse had a poor track record. Another story says a light horse could be raced twice if the color was changed to dark. Either way, the horse was a long shot of a bet. And if you're wondering why they never tried the same trick in reverse, like taking a bunch of brunette horses and making them blondes, well, they said it couldn't be done. Obviously, at least where horses are concerned. Blondes really don't have more fun. Dead as a doornail. What is a doornail anyway? Well, I'm here to tell you the doornail is that plate or knob upon which a door's knocker knocks. As it never moves and is pounded upon repeatedly, we assume it's dead. Hence the reference. Some things are just too simple. Deadbeat. The first deadbeats were technically debt beaters. These were people who avoided their creditors by leaving their debts behind. In the early days of this country, there were two ways to shirk your financial obligations. One, by declaring bankruptcy, or two, by actually moving out of the colony where the debt was incurred. Those choosing the latter were known as debt beaters, which later was shortened and mispronounced as deadbeats. Devil's advocate. The role of the original DA was a religious one. Who'd have thought it? It all started with the Roman Catholic Church. When a name was submitted for canonization, two advocates were appointed to debate the matter to the fullest extent. One played the role of God's advocate, the other the devil's. Together, the two brought up every possible argument in a case before a final decision was made. Dingbat. Yes, there truly was an original Dingbat, and it wasn't Edith Bunker. Rather, its origins date to vaudeville, where sticks were often used for sound effects from the stage. Bells were also used at the punchline of a joke. This same stick was used for both batting the bells that marked the comic's buffoonery and for sounding the final curtain call. From this association, dingbat soon became the word to comically describe one whose mental capacity was in question. Dressed to the nines. No, this doesn't mean that on a scale from 1 to 10, one is dressed almost perfectly. The expression is English in origin and was, when spoken correctly, dressed to thine eyes, quite obviously in reference to one spiffed up from head to toe. Leave it to us to make it slang, mispronounce it a bit, and make it a popular expression, even though dressed to thine nines in and of itself makes absolutely no sense. Drunk as a fiddler. To appreciate the meaning of this one, you have to go back to the origins of fiddle playing as a profession. The earliest paying gigs were often for local weddings and wakes, and since most commoners couldn't afford a musician, it was customary for the fiddler to play for food and drink. Many earned the reputation of taking full advantage of this trade, and soon the phrase, drunk as a fiddler, was born. And the last is dyed in the wool. Those who work with wool know that if you attempt to dye an item after it is already spun into cloth, the odds of having an even, color-fast result are slim to none. The proper way to dye wool is to color the raw material before it is ever woven. By the same token, One said to be dyed in the wool is a person who is thoroughly indoctrinated with the belief, who believes in his cause through and through, and who leaves no gaps, no holes, no openings for any change in his opinion. And that's today's story time. I'm glad you could join us. Until next time, stay safe, be healthy, and have a wonderful week.